We're good to go.
All right, we are good to go. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Packer, and I'm Vice President of Education with True Family Enterprises. I oversee the 1500 Sound Academy, and we are joined here by the one and only Ray Medina. I call him Uncle Ray. Say hi,
Nice to
Ray.
meet you. Hey, hi everyone. Nice meeting you.
Right on. Ray is a graduate of our program. He's also a TA and a mentor at the Academy, as well as a super busy man in the industry. So we are really lucky to have him with us, and definitely he will share some expertise about the program and some of his experiences at the Academy with you all. So we're thrilled to be here. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and we will jump into the presentation. One sec. Okay, everybody see that okay? Ray, you good?
Yep, looks great.
Terrific. So this is just a little bit about Ray and myself. As I said, I'm Vice President of Education. I've been in music and education for, well over 35 years, not only as a musician, a drummer, but as an educator. I've been teaching for about that long, and also an administrator. And I'm very, very passionate about music education and obviously access and equity as well. And Ray, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself?
So hi, my name is Ray Medina. I'm a songwriter, music producer, and also I will be a mentor and also kind of guide for you guys during the courses. I did go to LA Recording School, and also I am a proud 1500 at Sound Academy alumni. And it's, this course, I'm excited for y'all to see the preview of this.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. So today's agenda, we are going to talk about the actual production program at Yellowbrick. We're going to discuss ultimately who the program is for, what the program covers in length, who you're learning from. So we're going to talk about some of the industry experts that are included in the program. We're going to talk about the skills that you will develop. We're going to talk about the final project and if there's a review of the final project. And we're going to talk about some of the benefits of why you should take the program. And lastly, we're going to talk about how you can enroll in the program. So first, to get things kicked off, I want to just share a video with you all. It's a couple minutes long. It'll kind of explain the program. It'll explain 1500 Sound Academy to you. So let me just jump over here. See that okay? Here we go.
By enrolling in the 1500 Sound Academy on-demand online program today, with guided lessons from Grammy Award-winning industry experts, this self-paced program gives you unparalleled access to the information and knowledge needed to succeed in the music business. Our team of industry insiders will share with you their exclusive insights, as well as teach you the core topics necessary for an artist, songwriter, producer, and music industry professional to understand. You will have dedicated access to 1500 Sound Academy mentors through weekly online office hours. Once you have completed the program, you will get exclusive, personalized video feedback on your final project with our Grammy-winning industry experts. If you want to improve your craft or learn about the many opportunities available in the music industry, come and join us in the on-demand online program from the 1500 Sound Academy.
All right. What a lead in. Do a new share, get back. Okay, here we go. So a couple housekeeping things just before we get started. If you have any comments at all, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Make sure that everybody is selected. And then if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A. And Ray and myself will do the best we can to answer those questions. And then we also have Kristen, who's a representative from Yellowbrick on the line, who will also be helping us answer those questions as well. Hopefully, and most likely, there will be plenty of time after the presentation for open Q&A. So some of those questions we'll be able to call out and answer right on this presentation. Okay, cool. So let's jump in. So the music production program is 100% online, and it covers music production and a lot about the music industry as a whole. It's 100% on demand, and it's 100% self-paced. So what does that mean? That means that you as a student can access it anytime you want. It fits totally into your schedule. So if you're a high schooler, you can take it when you get home from school, or you can take it in the evenings on the weekends. If you're a professional, you can do it in the evenings after work. So it's a very, very flexible structure for you. You will need an internet connection and a device, as well as access to Ableton and Pro Tools. And Ray, maybe you can speak to this a little bit, but with Ableton and Pro Tools, with Ableton, there is a free version for, I believe, 3 months, which will be plenty of time to get you through the program if you don't have
Yes.
access to it. I believe the same with Pro Tools.
Yes, I believe there's a trial that you could use for Ableton, and I believe that is also 3 months. And then with Pro Tools, there is, I believe, also a trial that you can use that should go over the course, but you may need to want to invest in Pro Tools if you need be.
Yeah, so with those, the trial versions are kind of bare bones, but they give you plenty of software that you'll be able to complete your assignments, no problem. But certainly if you want to progress and go further, you'll probably want to get access to those, more substantive versions of those platforms, okay?
Mhm.
Length. The full program is about 60 hours. So there's 6 courses. Each course takes about 10 hours each. If you do need more time, Yellowbrick offers affordable extension month-to-month plans, but you will have up to a year to go ahead and complete the coursework. Okay, who is 1500 Sound Academy Music Production Program for? I love this one. So it's definitely for someone who is in high school, and that person would be possibly looking to determine if music, either music as a creative or music as an industry, would be a great career path for you. The music industry is such a broad industry. It's not necessarily about just being an artist or an engineer or a musician. There are so many jobs that support the music industry. So throughout the program, you're going to learn about many different career opportunities for you within the industry. It'll also help you potentially decide if you do want to continue on with your academic path past high school. What would be a good school to pursue music at? Whether it's 1500 or it's a university or a college. You would all obviously want to look for programs that offer the things that you're interested in. And going through the 1500 Sound Academy online program at Yellowbrick, that'll help you to focus in on what your true interests are. So that'd be really useful for you. It's also great for college students or even people out of college looking for career advice or professional development. We even have a lot of people who are in the industry already coming and taking some of these courses just to get professional development and improve their craft. They're great for people who want to improve their own music. Let's say you're a music producer, you make beats, you're a songwriter. This would be a really good program for you to kind of fill in the fundamental holes of your knowledge and then really excel past that and improve your craft. Definitely good for people who might be interested in a career change. So if you're in a career and you've always been passionate about music or the music industry and you want to consider a change, this would be a perfect program to not only find out the ins and outs of how to be a creative and what you need, but also, as I mentioned before, some of the career paths that are available to you. And then lastly, someone looking to strengthen their resume by adding the 1500 Sound Academy Music Production Program certificate to it. Now, that's a very true statement, and I would also add that if you're in high school and you want to go to college, having this certificate on your college application would be hugely beneficial for you. Okay, so let's move on. What does the 1500 Sound Academy Music Production Program cover? So as I mentioned, there are 6 courses, and there is in total over 150 on-demand videos included in the entire program. Each course is 10 hours in length, and the courses are in music production, sound engineering, songwriting, mixing, music business, and artist branding. Each course module features several shorter video lessons. We've found that 3 to 5 minute videos are most effective for students to learn. And each of those videos is going to come as either a faculty or a course contributor speaking to you. It'll be a screen capture of software, or it'll be a graphics video. All of them are very engaging and a really fun way to learn. Okay, who am I learning from? So one of the amazing things that we feel is strength about this program is that all of the faculty contributors are high-level industry experts. So in the next slide here, we'll look at just a few of them. But everybody that you will encounter in this program has major credits. Most of them, if not all, have Grammy nominations or Grammy wins. So it's really a star-studded faculty list, and you're really going to be getting the right information from people who are in the industry doing the work right now. So here's a look at some of the faculty. You have Young Guru, who's a very famous audio engineer, works with Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, Ludacris. You have Cosign, who's an actor and a songwriter. He's written for Rihanna and Nicki Minaj. You have Ali Brooke, who is an artist in her own right. She was a member of the group Fifth Harmony. And then you have Harmony Samuels, who is a tremendous songwriter and producer who's worked with J-Lo and Adriana Grande. Okay, that's just a few. There's probably, I don't know, Ray, 20, 25 artists that are all involved in the program, would you say?
Yeah, there's a bunch, and it's all every expert I've actually met. I've had the fortunate opportunity to meet all of these people, and the gems that they drop for each of these videos that they present. It's amazing. Definitely great information from everyone.
Yeah, agree. Okay, what skills will I be developing? So now I'm going to turn it over to Ray, who's going to kind of talk down each individual course and some of the learning outcomes and some of the ins and outs of each course.
Yeah.
Take it away, Uncle Ray.
Cool. So we start off with music production here. Dedication to your craft. That's really talking about the 1500 Sound Academy mindset and 1500 or nothing. Who is 1500 or nothing, and also the type of mentality and kind of work ethic that is needed for this industry, and it brings that introduction for that. Next is equipment, where to start, what type of equipment is needed, whether it's a microphone, interface, a mic stand, general basics of that, and then how to find the appropriate sounds for your project. That's coming down to what kind of kick sounds, what kind of instruments are you wanting to use for your own production. That can come down to a sample to the actual instrument that you might be using. Next is drum programming to the grid. That's what we're gonna analyze what the grid is, which is, for when you're drum programming, you're putting in specific patterns for whether specific genre like hip hop, pop, EDM. And then next we have sound design with 808s, which you're gonna learn about how to manipulate a sample for an 808 and how to create your own 808. And then the last part right here is music theory concepts. And I really love the music theory concepts where it really brings down the fundamentals of the basics of music theory and an easy way to remember and how to utilize it in your own production. Yeah. Next is engineering. So for engineering, we start off with the history of recording, and the major thing of the engineering course is learning how to record yourself and have yourself set up to be able to record and edit your own vocals. So first we start off with the history of recording, where we look into how did recording start off and where we are now. Next we go into recording gear setup, which is how to set up your interface, your microphone, and being able to utilize it with your digital audio workstation like Pro Tools. Next, we go into the Pro Tools setup, which is how to set up Pro Tools and be able to prepare that for in order to record your own vocals as you continue in the course. Then next, we go into signal flow, which is one of my favorite topics, and how to understand how audio flows from the recording of the audio from an analog signal down to a digital signal back to an analog signal. And that's going through how to manipulate a track into going into different effects and how to manipulate those. After that, we go into recording techniques, where that can go into both the placement of how you set up your microphone and also into vocal production in a sense, where how to arrange your backgrounds as an example. And finally is stems, where you go into creating stems for your track, where you have individual stems and you're able to present that and get that ready for the mixing process.
Awesome. I'd like to add one more thing. Young Guru is definitely really involved in the engineering module.
Yes.
But also we have a gentleman named Dave Hampton, who's also very involved. And Dave was an engineer and the individual who built Paisley Park with Prince.
Yes.
So really just top-notch information coming from real industry experts.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Next is songwriting. So first we break down what is a song, what are the components of a song, and really break that down and define each section of a song, like a verse and a chorus and a pre-chorus. We also go into melody, how to create a melody and how to utilize the key of a song and the notes within that key and utilize that to create our own melody and cadence. Next is the rhythm, which coupling with the melody, utilizing the rhythm to create your own different cadences. Following is call and response, which is a technique that is used to pretty much create some it's sort of like a chanting type of vibe, but also it's a certain structure that you can utilize to use in your songwriting. And then we also break down song structure, hooks, and the phrase that pays, which is one of my favorite topics, which is very important and something that has been instilled in my mind when doing these courses. And also breaking down the sources of inspiration. Where do you get your ideas? What kind of stories can you tell? So
yeah, great. The co-founders at 1500 Sound Academy, Laurence Dobson and James Fauntleroy, are two multi-Grammy winning songwriters and producers. And they were very involved in the creation of this curriculum. And basically what we did is we looked at the outcomes. What do they need to succeed in the studios and working with artists on a daily basis? We made those outcomes, and then we reverse engineered the whole curriculum to match those outcomes. So if you're considering taking, this program and think about the songwriting module, you're going to be learning from, arguably two of the most important songwriters of the last 15 years. They crafted it this way, and they crafted it based on the outcomes that they use on a daily basis.
Yeah, I utilize every single thing that they've taught, and even from the gems that I've seen and just heard from them, I utilize that every day in both my songwriting and production. So these courses are definitely very beneficial for you. All right, so next we got mixing. What is mixing? So we really break down the general basis of what mixing is. We then go into critically listening, as in like breaking down and critically listening to instruments and how they're set in the mix, and listening to maybe how a vocal is panned, or how a guitar is, the levels of a guitar, and really seeing where are they placed in the mix and what level they're set at. Following that is EQing mixing, understanding what an EQ is and applying that to your mix. In addition, we go into compression, um, adding that as well to how to utilize it in your mix. Hardware and plugins, the differences and the advantages between the two. Um, then we follow into reverb and delay, how to utilize that for both instruments and your vocals. Then after that, we go into intro to vocal production, where we really break down and how to utilize arrangement of how vocals can be set in your mix and how to level them correctly in the mix. Then we go into utilizing tuning tools such as Autotune and Melodyne, and how to um, correct any flaws in the melody if you have any. And following that, then we go into utilizing automation for vocals, which can be used for your reverb and delays and other effects as well. So it's a really full on, really in depth course with mixing. Definitely a lot of gems in there as well.
So as you can see through the first four modules, you really work through the whole creative process, right? You learn
Yeah.
how you learn some basic music theory, you learn music production, you learn songwriting, you learn how to engineer and mix it. Now we're going to kind of shift and go toward the business side. So we've created, now we need to figure out how to market and sell it. So now next is music business.
So we start off with music business. We really start off with the elements of music business and the different areas of the music business, right? We're in the industry. It's the music business, right? So we go into that. Then we go into contracts and looking at terminology of what you might see in contracts and what to expect in today's industry. Following that, we go into what is publishing and who are publishers, and understanding what role they play in your career, and also looking into the PROs, or performing rights organizations. Those are two very important things to look at when you're jumping into the industry. Then we go into how royalties are set, um, mechanical royalties, and we how you get your money pretty much, and how those are applied for yourself. Then we go into also split sheets, which, as a songwriter, it's very important to know how to use one and also how to create one, right? And all the information that's needed for those. So going into that as well. Then you go into record labels. What is expected from a record label and what to look for, and seeing as well, what role do they play for you if you are the artist. And then finally, distribution, the basics of what distribution is, and also how to distribute your own music as well. So,
Great. Now with all of that, next we go to artist branding, which is now about, okay, if you're the artist, how do you manage your brand? How do you manage your voice? And how do you establish your team to help you sustain your career? And it's really valuable from an artist standpoint, but it's also valuable from a standpoint of knowing and understanding how many people actually support an artist. So Ray, why don't you talk us
mhm.
through that?
So with artist branding, this is another, this part is really figuring out who you are as an artist, trying to identify yourself as what do you want to represent. So you really start off with who are you as an artist, and like identifying like what type of audience you want to look at, right? Who's your audience? Why do you do your art? What are the reasons why? And really break that down and identifying those concepts for yourself.
Hmm.
Then following that is looking into your visual brand. What type of art do you want to like display visually? Whether it's a music video or your outfits, the whole image of yourself as a brand. Following that is the type of audio brand that you want to present. What type of genre are you kind of focusing in? What type of sounds are you wanting to utilize for your own brand as you as an artist, or even as a producer? Any career path of that sense. So then following that, your online presence, how to market yourself out there in social media today. What are ways to go about it and how to go forward with it. Then following that, connecting with your fans, looking into what are different ways to connect with your fans, which pairs with the social media, and also additional ways that might be outside of the box of that. And finally, roles of the artist. There's going to be days where you have to play different roles for yourself, whether it be a manager, or you booking yourself. Going through those different roles and understanding as an independent artist what you need to do as an independent artist when you first start off, and who would be part of your team that is going to be needed when you go further down your career through that.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is there a final project? The answer is yes. So throughout the whole program, you'll be working to develop and write your own song. You'll create it, you will engineer it, you will mix it, and then you will learn how to market it. And one of the great things about this program that makes this program unique is that we have some of our industry expert contributors signed on as capstone judges or final project judges. So anybody who submits a final project, it's going to be reviewed by Cosign or Dave Hampton or Harmony Samuels. And what they will do is they will video themselves listening to and reviewing your song, giving you constructive feedback, and then sending the video back to you. So it's really an awesome opportunity for you to have your work heard by somebody who's really in the industry now and can give you really good quality constructive feedback on your work. Okay, pardon me. Why should I take the 1500 Sound Academy Music Production Program? Well, number one, you can definitely get insider access from industry experts right in the comfort of your own home. The learning experience provides students with real-world examples as well as 1500 Sound Academy faculty lessons and information. Number two, learn visually and explore your creativity. There are no long lectures. I remember I mentioned the short video content, 3 to 5 minutes. This program is designed to be digestible learning experience to help students pursue their dreams of working in the music industry. And lastly, the course cost is $2,499. There are flexible payment plans to fit your budget. You can view you can view them once you click on the Enroll Now on the website. For any other questions about pricing, please email admissions@Yellowbrick.co. How will I benefit from taking the 1500 Sound Academy Music Production Program? Well, the certificate of completion, which is non-credit, offered by 1500 Sound Academy, can be added to your resume and or college application. That'll be a huge benefit for you. You will get to create a song that you can, come away with the pride and the excitement of knowing that you created by yourself, and know that you really, worked very hard for, at least 60 hours, however long that takes, however long you take through the program. But you worked really hard for a considerable amount of time perfecting that song and getting it to sound great and getting it to a point where you want to be able to release it on, Spotify or SoundCloud or any one of the distribution platforms. Real industry scenario assignments. That's very true. So, for the songwriting course, as an example, because Rance and James are professional songwriters, they created the course and created assignments and quiz questions as if, they were things that they have been asked to do by artists themselves. So it's very real world. Feedback from industry experts on your final project, which we discussed. And then access to 1,500 Sound Academy mentors through weekly virtual open counseling sessions. So I want to talk about that for a second. Mm-hmm. So another really unique aspect of this program is that once a week, you can log on and you can meet with Ray virtually and ask him any questions you want. You can work on your material or your assignments for the program with him. Mm-hmm. He can give you guidance. It's our way of trying to extend ourselves from Inglewood, California to anywhere in the country or even the world, so that we can try and be as hands-on as possible with you and assist you and guide you as you go through this journey. It's something that's really, really important to us. And if you take this program, we really encourage you to take advantage of the mentoring sessions. They're super, super beneficial. Ray, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think with every student, it's always different, whatever focus it may be. But I think with this whole course, it really sets the fundamentals of everything of how to approach this industry. And from my own experience, I've found that this was like so beneficial, and it helped me really guide myself. And also, that's why I love doing the additional counseling sessions to help the students and just get even additional gems that I've learned and give it out to you guys, so that it's we could help you go further down for your career as well. So
awesome. Okay, so what are the next steps? Enrollment. The enrollment process is very quick and it's easy. It's very simple. You must be 13 years old to enroll in the program. One of the great things about the program is there are no prerequisites. So if you're someone who has zero experience, you can come on in. And it's actually a great program for you because it starts at zero, and especially with the music theory and some of the concepts between Ableton and Pro Tools and stuff, it really starts you off at the ground level so that you'll be able to comprehend easily and keep up with your assignments as you go through the program. So if you're interested in enrolling today, visit Yellowbrick.co/1500 sound, and that'll get you all the information that you need. And of course, last but not least, who is Yellowbrick? First of all, I want to say from 1500 Sound Academy, we are so honored and thrilled to be partnering with Yellowbrick to deliver this program. Yellowbrick is such an unbelievable wealth of really quality arts and entertainment education for people in all walks or all periods of their life, whether it's high school, whether it's career, whether it's college. The information that you get on Yellowbrick is really, really second to none. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So we're thrilled to be in partnership with Yellowbrick on this program. But let me just read the little blurb. In partnership with top universities and brand partners, Yellowbrick creates experiences that tap into passion points to spark success, fuel personal advancement, and unlock doors to fulfilling paths for our students. Check out the full course offerings at Yellowbrick.co. And you can also email admissions@1500.yellowbrick.co for information on this program. Okay, thank you all very much. So now we have some time and we have some questions here. So we can open up a Q&A. Let's see what we've got. Do you think this course is a help for anyone with a podcast? That's a great question. I do, and I'll say that for a couple reasons. The engineering and mixing aspects that we talk about are definitely appropriate for what you will need to do in podcasting. First of all, just engineering and mixing your own voice and vocal production, but it will also help, if you're going to be producing your own podcast, you need to create music, right? There need to be bumpers and there need to be interstitials. So it'll help you to create your own music, engineer and mix your own music. So really you could be a one-stop shop. So absolutely, I think it's totally appropriate for somebody who wanted to do podcasting. Do students have to pay for Ableton software? So we talked about this a little bit earlier. Ableton does offer a free trial for 90 days. And that trial includes enough of the software that you will be able to do all of your coursework, no problem. If you do need Ableton past the 90 days, you will need to then purchase it. But honestly, I don't mean to speak for Ray, but I think he would agree that you're probably, if you're into this, you're going to want to go ahead and get it at some point anyway. So, but to complete the music production program, you'll have plenty at your disposal. Ray, here's one. Here's one for you from Hallie.
What is a stem, right?
Yeah, what's a stem?
So stem, you can identify as individual instruments when the term bouncing, right, is pretty much, think of it getting your wave files or the individual instruments bounced out. So you're getting those individual files and they could be separated into groups, which could be like all of the drums, like a drum stem, or your individual instrument like a guitar, right? So you could you're pretty much exporting those out into your, from your DAW, which is your digital audio workstation, like Ableton. And through the courses, or through I believe it was in the production course and also the recording course, learning how to utilize or how to set that up so that you can export those files.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. Hallie, I hope that answered your question. If you have any other questions on that, just throw it in the Q&A. Here's one from Tammy. Tammy is already enrolled in Full Sail right now. That's great. Way to go. And, best of luck on your studies there. It's a great school. I would say that, there are a lot of music schools out there and music programs out there. And, I personally don't subscribe to, one is best or this is best and this is not best. They all have great things to offer and they all have different things to offer.
Yeah.
What we're offering here with Yellowbrick is probably going to be pretty different than what you would be studying at Full Sail, just based on, our co-founders and how we created the curriculum and their experiences that actually are folded into the curriculum.
Yes.
So just because you're at Full Sail now, I wouldn't necessarily discourage you from considering a program like this. I think it could be a great supplement to what you're doing at Full Sail, and it might be really nice for you and help you with your studies as well. Okay?
Awesome.
Joey, would I be able to participate using Logic Pro, or is Ableton required? Ray, you want that one?
I would say I recommend utilizing Ableton. A lot of the videos are utilizing Ableton, but overall the fundamentals of how to use a DAW, and this is from my own experience, all DAWs are going to end up being the same at the end of the day. It's really learning how to use those techniques and understanding how to utilize in any production. I'm able to use Ableton, Logic, FL Studio, all of it. But it all comes down to the fundamentals of understanding how do you use this digital audio workstation. But I would say utilizing Ableton for this course is definitely going to be needed. I would definitely use that. But if you use Logic Pro X, you'll be able to understand the terminology a lot more. So definitely look forward.
Great. I want to skip down a few and answer this one question by anonymous attendee. 1500 Sound Academy is being presented to us. I want to know how this collaboration with Yellowbrick has benefited them, or why they chose to partner with Yellowbrick. That's a great question, and I think I can speak to that. As I mentioned before, we feel that Yellowbrick is the absolute best in the business. Um, who they partner with, NYU, Parsons, um, they're really all at the top. And when we look at entities that we are considering partnering with, that's what we look for. We also look for like-minded organizations. We are very much about quality, obviously, but we are also very much about access and getting anybody access to quality education anywhere in the world. And Yellowbrick definitely fits that mold for us. So we feel like there are tons of synergies between Yellowbrick and 1500. And again, we are honored to be a part of this partnership. So it's a perfect fit for us. Is there a sign-on deadline for this course? I don't believe so. I believe that the admissions are rolling. Kristen, if I'm wrong, you can go ahead and answer in the Q&A, but I think that's what it is. So here's one from Elena. Is this course or the music industry essentials more adequate for someone who wants to learn about artist management? That's a great question, Elena. And I would think that both courses or both programs have a lot to offer. I think the NYU class, sorry, I'm blanking, Industry Essentials class program is coming at it more from an industry standpoint, whereas the 1500 program is coming at it from an industry standpoint, but also an artist standpoint. So it is for the creative as well to know, okay, these are the things that I'm going to need to be responsible for, and or the team that I'm going to need to build to make sure that all of these aspects of my career are getting taken care of. So I hope that answers your question okay. I think both programs are phenomenal, honestly. Okay. Do I need Ableton to do this course? From Devin. Yeah, I would think you're going to need access to at least the free trial
Yes.
of Ableton to do the course.
Mm-hmm.
Devin. Okay, there are no open questions right now. Anybody have any other questions they can throw in? We'll give it a second here. It's nice that we got through them all. I never usually get through them all.
Oh, there we go.
Here we go. What's your favorite part of the course? Ray, I'm going to let you answer that, and then I'll answer it.
I think there's always, that's a hard question because I like it all overall because you really hit every single part of the industry, whether the creative side to the business side. Me personally, I'm very creative, so I love the production and the recording and also mixing. That really got me really wanting to learn more about it. And there were things I didn't even know that I was like, oh wow, I didn't know I needed to do this and do that. It's very in depth. So, but I would say those three really caught me. But overall, the whole course is really great. So,
I think for me, one of my most favorite parts, and something that I think is really unique and excellent about it, is in songwriting, what we talked about before about the phrase that pays.
yeah.
The phrase that pays is really kind of what James and Rance have kind of branded as their approach or their process to songwriting. And how a lot of times less is more, and how you can say a lot more with fewer words, and you can utilize space. Those are all concepts that are really important to songwriting, but they also transcend songwriting, right? As I said before, I'm a drummer, and when I'm soloing, I try and utilize space as well. I try and say much more with a lot less. So it's really transcendent. And so I think that's one of the things that really sticks out to me from the program.
Mhm.
Tammy, so my daughter is 11. She'll be 13 in a few years. Will you still be doing a course like this then? Absolutely. We are here for you. So when she turns 13, come on back. We would love to have your daughter go through the program. Here's one for you, Ray. So you guys teach how to mix, master, and engineer.
Yeah, so you go through how to mix your song, how to set up for how to get your track ready to be mastered, and also learn general mastering techniques. And also, as an engineer, there's different types of engineering, and I think that's great where it kind of shows like the recording. There's tracking engineers, there's mixing engineers, and then there's a mastering engineer. So it's I would say with the course you really get a taste of each thing, but also go pretty deep on certain subjects, as like for mixing, how to set those up, how to set up your instruments and have those ready to go for, and getting those ready for a mastering engineer, or also putting general basis of a master if you're wanting to do it yourself. So
Great. Stephanie asks, what specifically is covered in the music theory section? So I'll take a stab at it, and Ray, if I miss
mm-hmm.
anything, please jump in.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely major and minor scales and chords, and some basic rhythm structure concepts as it's related to making beats and how they fit to the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Ray, anything that I missed?
Chord progressions, we're looking into those, identifying different types of chords to utilize in your production as well. Those are some other topics as well that you can find.
Great. What advice do you have for someone interested in getting into music production with no idea even where to start? Well, great question. I think, there's a lot of stuff that you can learn just, cruising around the internet and going to YouTube and doing all of that stuff. One of the great things about enrolling in a program is that you have the people that have designed the program. There's a method to that, right? So there are learning outcomes. There's a start, there's a middle, there's an ending, there are assignments, there are activities, all in place for you to codify your learning of the subject matter. If I was going to go and I wanted to learn something for drumming and I just went to YouTube, I would go all over the place and not really have good guidance on what I need to learn and how I need to learn it. I go to programs so that I have those methods in place. So what I would recommend is doing a program, and I do happen to believe that this program is actually perfect for you because, as I said before, it starts at a fundamental level, and it would really kind of teach you where to start and then help develop your skills in a methodical way. Ray, anything you would like to add to that?
I think you really hit it on the point, but the next question that you asked, CK, is what is the most important thing producers can do to improve their skills? I think the most important thing is to always be a student. That's, to me, I think learning new, you have to be open to learning and knowing that things are always changing in the industry, and be open to being like a sponge, learning how to identify the things that you need help with. And this course, I feel, is really gonna it's like an eye opener to like finding there might be something that you might have never known about, and that could be the key to your success, right? And it could open up maybe a new door that you might be like, whoa, maybe I really like audio engineering. That might
Mm-hmm.
be something that might spark your career. And that's something for myself as a producer. I've always found that like there's different techniques that people use, and I like to just get as much information as possible so that I could be prepared for when, if as an example, if I go into a session, being prepared to create a beat on the spot, or being able to track an artist on that's in the booth, being able to do all of those. Yep.
Yeah, totally agree. And to just kind of add on to Ray's comment of always be open to learning, always learn everywhere you are. So if you're listening to music, analyze it while you're listening to it, no matter where you are. See if you can isolate certain things. Hear the beat, really break down the beat, hear the melodic structure or the lyrics of the songs. What are the lyrics trying to convey? Um, if you're really passionate about doing this, that it's kind of, you have no choice, right? This is what you do. And so you're kind of always in it. So embrace that and try and learn in every situation that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's another one. What do you recommend by CK? What do you recommend for an artist who has been releasing their work for free on platforms such as YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram to be taken seriously in the future? It's a great question. Ray, you have any thoughts about that?
I would say if we're, for yourself, learning, releasing yourself out for free, and that's great. I think it's really taking it to the next step and really going, how do I make this into a full career if that is what you're wanting to do, right? Being able to monetize and be able to gain that, um, pretty much creating, learning how to work in the actual industry and working in the actual music business. And of course, to build out your audience, it's great to put stuff out for free and get that, the listeners and everything. But how do you take that to the next level, right? I really feel that with the artist branding course, that really kind of helps, so like, solidify and kind of opens up the door of, okay, what are the options that I could do to market yourself, and also how to distribute onto many of these platforms that are out, like Spotify or any of these streaming sites.
Yeah, great advice. What I would add to that is, obviously you want to put your stuff out for free and start building your platform, right? But there needs to be a time when you take that next step and you offer some stuff, um, and the ability to monetize it. One thing that you could consider in marketing is, instead of spending money on, Facebook ads and Google ads and all that stuff, have 10 friends basically give you a testimonial. If they love it, have them post about how much they love your stuff, because then other people are going to see it and be like, yeah, I need to check that out. If this person loves it so much, I'm sure I'll love it too, so I need to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So use your fan base, use your friends to try and drum up some of that promo for yourself. And then hopefully that can help you kind of transcend the free world and get into more of the monetization of it. Okay. Good. All great questions today. Thank you guys so much. Here's one. What's the real best way to connect with a producer who is a higher tier of the industry and a songwriter who make high quality music but wouldn't necessarily be in the room as these producers? That's a great question. I would say there are so many ways now with technology, for you to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's a specific artist or a specific producer that you want to get in touch with, find out how to get them. Go through their management, go through their teams, find somebody who gets you to 2 degrees of separation to that person, and really try and just, have a good strategy of how you can meet that person or other people. If you find that you're in a city, or an environment where, the music industry is pretty vibrant and you can actually go to these places, start hanging out, right? Go to certain places where you can hang, and that these people are hanging there as well, and you can meet them and, strike up relationships with them. This industry is, you obviously have to know your stuff, but it's very much based on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very much. So you could be the most amazing drummer in the world and practicing 20 hours a day in a practice room, But if you don't have any friends and any business relationships, it's not going to matter. Nobody's going to hear you. You have to be outward. And, you know, that's one of the things that we focus on at 1500, honestly, is how do you, what soft skills do you need to be successful in a social setting?
Mhm.
How do you act in a studio session? How do you act when you're working with an artist? There are definitely specific things that you want to do and things that you don't want to do.
Mhm.
So I would say just try and immerse yourself in the environment as much as possible and build relationships. How about you, Ray? Any other advice on that?
I would say, of course, it's amazing to try to reach up to a higher tier producer or songwriter in that sense. But I always like to work with the people that I'm surrounded and are at my level, because I believe in growth. I always like to see the growth in one, because you can always learn from someone that that's at your level, and as you move up together, you'll end up seeing each other and be like, oh, hey, we're both at the top tier now. And it really is, it's a gradual growth. And of course, utilizing your network. For myself, I've always tried to meet new people, and whether using social media to even like reach out, that's always another option. But the people who I like to work with are my friends. They're the ones that I've whether if they're in the industry and we're both at kind of the same level, we try to utilize both of our networks to build up and also introduce ourselves to newer opportunities. So,
Great. Great advice, Ray. Here's one from David Master. Because it is self-paced, I expect that it is all pre-recorded material to watch. Any live other than those weekly meetings we were talking about? That's correct, David. It's all asynchronous with the exception of the synchronous open counseling, the mentorship hours. But other than that, it's all synchronous. Or sorry, asynchronous. Here's one from Anonymous. If I'm working on an album, should I be thinking about my release date, or should I just continue working on the music until it's officially done, finished? Boy, that's a tough question. Should I really be thinking about putting it out as soon as possible, or should I take my time? I'll take a stab at that, and then Ray can go. It's hard because if you don't put a time limit on it, you could be editing and rewriting for the rest of your life until you feel it's perfect, and it may never get to a place where you feel it's perfect. So my suggestion is put somewhat of a time limit or a goal on it, because really any of these works, any art, is a reflection of where you are at that time. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be as best as you can get it for this point in your development. So yeah, I would definitely suggest putting a time limit on it. Otherwise, you're going to be working on one song for the rest of your life. Ray, would you agree, disagree?
No, I think it definitely putting a deadline, but also, I, I think when you do put a deadline on it, you definitely put in more effort, and that's just from experience as for myself. And yeah, I think, of course, you can have something open for so long, but it might, yeah, like you said, you might be re-editing and re-editing and re-editing, and you're trying to achieve this perfection, but it doesn't need to be perfect. And it might be already perfect, and you never know. So,
Very true. Okay, here's another one from Anonymous. Is this course suitable and built in a way that will be beneficial in the midst of all the changes happening in the music industry? I would say, well, first, great question. Second, absolutely. It is a very, very current course. You have, very time-tested music theory concepts in the program. But other than that, it's very current with the software that we use, the songwriting concepts, and the music industry concepts that are all in the program. And then last one, I believe we're just at time now, so we'll go ahead and take one more from Zach. I'd be taking care of my art with a friend of mine I've been working with. Will I learn how to manage public relations in this program? I would say yes. Public relations, PR, is handled in the program. Ray, do you want to expound on some of the public relation concepts we talk about, or how in depth it gets?
Yeah, I would say I'm just trying to get a better sense of in reasoning of what you're saying as public relations. So I just want to describe it correctly. So are we talking about just in relation between you and your, or are we talking like outwards? I'm just trying to
I would think outwards.
like how to perceive yourself out into the public.
Well, yeah, so
Yeah.
so public relations as far as, writing press releases and
Yeah. Okay.
how to manage artists' public persona and their public
Yeah.
relations.
So with the artist branding, it really encaptures like we kind of described, where it talks about what type of image you want to portray, and also the type, it really encapsulates what type of brand that you want to portray out to the world, right? So that really comes down to the type of image, that could come down to the type of cover art if we're being really just like specific with the actual music, the type of outfits you might be wearing, to the type of sound that you're trying to achieve, and try to, what genre are you trying to aim for as an artist. So yeah, I would say it goes pretty in depth to that point. And also, defining who you got, like who you are as a duo, I'm assuming, with you and your friend, what you want to be portrayed as, if you are songwriters or producers or artists, right? Um, that's what I would say.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's great. And I would just add in closing that um, you will learn about public relations, but it will be at a fundamental level.
yeah.
So you won't, it's not like you'll go through this program and then you'll be able to, step right into a gig at a PR firm.
Mhm. Yeah.
It'll introduce you to it. It'll talk about what the aspects are, how to do some of those aspects, and it'll set
Mhm.
you up then for your next level of education in
Mhm.
in public relations itself.
Yes.
Okay. Well, with that, I want to thank Ray. I want to thank Yellowbrick for hosting this and having us. It was really great talking to all of you. Your questions were terrific. If you have any other questions at all, please feel free to reach out to Yellowbrick. They will definitely either answer them or get them in front of us, and we will. And I hope we see you in the program. It's a great program. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's engaging, it's fun, and yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Have a great
you.
day. Bye.